This is an appeal to the people of Iceland. I'm Hans Lysklemt. I'm the editor of Farman business magazine in Oslo, Norway. And I've made a number of videos commenting on the Icelandic situation during the last few years. And now the crisis is really peaking with the Icesave deal and whether or not to approve that. And I salute the people of Iceland for demanding a popular vote on this issue. And I salute the Prime Minister for not signing it, even though the Parliament has agreed on it. Because what we're seeing now is, and what has really disturbed me, is an article in today's Dagens Næringsliv, the main business daily in Oslo, Norway, about this and about the fact that your finance minister came over to talk to the Norwegian finance minister about how to do this. And what the foreign minister in Norway has gone out to say is that he relates to the parliament of Iceland and not the people. He says explicitly that the parliament has promised to pay, and that's what he cares about. He doesn't care about what the people of Iceland says. And this is symptomatic. This illustrates the problem where the political class, where the political system has taken over control. It's a power grab. You see, the public sector, government, always has an innate want to grow and to cover new territory and to get stronger for itself. And what needs to counterbalance that is the people being very much aware of this phenomenon of the state wanting to grow and being ever vigilant in order to keep it at bay and keep it back. And this is the balance of power between the people and the government. The government is a separate entity. And you can see that foreign governments, other governments, they don't care about the people of Iceland. They care about the government of Iceland. And this is extremely important because, especially in the Nordic countries, we have this naive belief that the government is us, that we are the government. No, it's not. The government is an entity of itself, and it needs to be kept at bay. And especially when it's grabbed, like now, by power-hungry politicians that just want to extend their own power and their own structures, and the whole EU madness and EUS madness and all these international cooperative institutions that are really gaining strength at the cost of the people. It's not in the interest of the people to enter into the European Union and all these international agreements. It's in the interest of the power establishment, the politicians, the multinational corporations, the big ones, at your cost. So the people of Iceland have to stand up, and I salute you for doing that. I plead to the people of Iceland to please continue this. Vote down the Icesave agreement. Do not agree to pay out this. The financial system is rotten to the core, and the people of Iceland should not be kept responsible for the rotten at core international financial system with central banks backing each other up and backing up these independent entities that are the states that just grow at the cost of the people. This is the time to say stop, enough, we've had it. And the fantastic thing from an international perspective is that in most other countries, the countries are large enough to sort of be able to absorb any one bank or any one catastrophe that's happening. This is a finely tuned system. But in Iceland, of course, what happened was that this one bank in the banking sector become too large for the government to really absorb it. They had to put the bill at the people, and the people said no. So Iceland is an experiment in what's going to happen. So the rest of the world is looking at you. Are you going to stand up for government and for the central banks and for these international agreements? Or are you just going to play along to enter into the EU and to get some extra international financing and just go along with the merry-go-long? This is the epic moment where the people of Iceland, decides on their destiny. And you might be the first country in the world to really stand up here now. You have the chance to say no. If you say no to the Icesave agreement, then the EU entrance of your country will fall as well. And this is a great thing. This is an opportunity to strengthen the power of the people at the cost of the governments. So I urge you to do this. I urge you to stand up. It's the system, the political system and the financial system is rotten to the core. What should you do then? The people of Iceland should embrace freedom. Freedom, individual freedom for the people of Iceland. That is a very limited government that has a very limited function, keeping up with justice, keeping up with security, both national and international. That's pretty much it. Privatize the rest of it. The people can work this out by themselves. And when it comes to money and the financial system, what you could do, what you have an international unique opportunity to do, is to go to free currencies. I mean, what Iceland should do is to become the Hong Kong of the Nordic era. It should become the Hong Kong of the Arctic era. It should become the place where people want to invest their money in the Arctic boom that's going to happen in our generation and the next few generations to come. The Russians, the Canadians, the Americans, the Norwegians, the British, everybody puts money into this region. And Iceland can be the hub where everyone wants to set up their base, where you want to have your operation. And the way to do that is to set up freedom. Abolish taxes. Have an absolutely free currency competition where no currency is legal tender, but that you can use any currency, including gold. So you can make agreements in gold, payments and settlements in gold, and mimic what Hong Kong did. And for the next 100 years or more, you can have the most amazing boom in Iceland that you ever saw. If you do this, if you refute the European Union and go your own way in liberty, you will be met with a success unimagined in common hours. I mean, if you liberate Iceland, even I will come, set up office there. I mean, I'm trying to find a place of freedom, and so many other people are doing just that. So you have a unique opportunity to say enough and to stand up against the politicians. And I really, really hope you will do that. And I really also hope that no matter what happens, that the people of Iceland and everyone who's following this situation really reads up and understands what this creature of the government and the state, what it really is. It's not representing you. It's a government, and it's an entity in its own right. And maybe this can be a revival of individual liberty. Maybe this can be a revival of the ideas of freedom, of being able to go about your own business, to trade freely, to enter into volunteer agreements with anyone without the state mingling into everything. We've had enough of that. So in this desperate situation for Iceland, and it's not that desperate, it's going to work out, you have a unique opportunity and a unique point in time in your history to make a real change for the better, not for the worse. If you end up paying this money, entering into the EU to try to find salvation that way, it will only get worse. The thing, what has happened in Iceland is going to happen on a worldwide scale in our lifetime. There won't be enough money to cover all the debt. So you can sort this out and go another way in Iceland now, or you can have the same problem 20 years down the road in the EU, or maybe just 10 or 5 years from now. It's going to happen. So you have a unique point of history to go your own way and to embrace liberty, personal freedom. I hope you will do the right thing. Stand up for government. If you are in Iceland, do whatever you can to stop this. You know, use the next few months to educate and go out there, scream and shout in the streets, talk to people, vote down the Icesave agreement, do not enter the EU, and realize what government is all about.